All right, let's talk about bones. We usually think of them as, well, just the frame holding us all together, right? Kind of simple, unchanging. But what if I told you there's this incredible secret life happening inside them, like right now? A hidden conversation between force and biology that's literally keeping you strong.
I mean, it's an easy mistake to make, isn't it? You go to a museum, you see these ancient skeletons, they look totally static, like they've been the same for centuries. But here's the thing, the science tells a completely different story, a way more fascinating one, about the living, breathing tissue that's constantly at work inside you.
So let's peel back the curtain and really get into what your skeleton is all about. It's time to kind of throw out the old ideas and see what's really going on under the surface.
Okay, so on one hand, you've got the common view. Bones are just this static, maybe even brittle scaffolding. But the reality? Oh, it's so much cooler. They're living, they're dynamic, and they are incredibly responsive to everything you do.
And this incredible dynamism all comes down to something called bone remodeling. Now think of it like a never-ending renovation project happening inside your own body. You've got these cells called osteoclasts. They're the demolition crew clearing out old, tired bone. And right behind them, you've got the osteoblasts. That's your construction crew, building up new, stronger bone in its place. This is happening all the time, so much so that you basically get a whole new skeleton about every 10 years. Wild, right?
But you know, the big question is, how do those construction cells, the osteoblasts, know where to build? What's the signal that tells them, hey, build here, not there? Well, this brings us to the absolute core of this whole thing, the piezoelectric secret.
Now, that sounds like a super complicated science term, I know, but the idea behind it is just stunningly simple. When you put mechanical stress on your bones, from walking, running, even just lifting groceries, they generate a tiny little electrical charge. That's it. That's the piezoelectric effect.
So here's how that whole process plays out. Step 1, you do something active, like running or jumping. That creates the mechanical stress. Step 2, these tiny electric fields pop up, and they act like a little emergency flare, signaling those bone-building cells, the osteoblasts, to come check it out. And then, step 3, the osteoblasts arrive on the scene and get straight to work, laying down new bone and reinforcing that specific spot. It's targeted repair, exactly where you need it most.
You know, there's a quote that just sums this up perfectly. It's like your body is literally saying, hey, this area needs reinforcement. Every single impact, every time you lift something heavy, you're sending a work order to your own body. It's an incredibly smart system when you think about it.
Okay, so understanding the science is awesome, but the real question is, how do we use this? How do we actually apply it to our own lives and deliberately send those reinforcement signals to build a stronger skeleton?
Well, this right here is your game plan. It's not about doing just one thing. You really need a mix of different exercises to create different kinds of stress. So you've got your weight-bearing stuff, like walking or dancing, that works against gravity and compresses the bones, especially in your legs and hips. Then there's resistance training, lifting weights, using bands. That lets you put focused stress on specific bones, like in your arms, shoulders, and back. And you can't forget high-impact activities. Things like tennis or basketball send these really powerful stimulating forces all through your skeleton. It's all about creating those tiny electric charges we talked about.
But here's the catch. Sending the signal, that's only half the battle. For your body to actually follow through on that work order, your little construction crew needs two crucial things: the right building materials and enough time off to actually do the job.
And this is your toolkit for the job. Think of calcium as the bricks. It's the main building block. But those bricks are kind of useless without vitamin D, which is like the delivery truck that gets the calcium where it needs to go. Then you've got protein, which forms this flexible collagen framework. That's what stops your bones from being super brittle. And of course, you need minerals like magnesium and phosphorus, plus vitamin K, to really harden everything and make that new bone dense and strong. You really need the whole kit to get the job done right.
And this next point is so important, but it gets overlooked all the time. The exercise is what creates the stimulus, the call to action. But the actual strengthening, the rebuilding, that all happens when you rest. Rest is not being lazy. It's the critical remodeling phase. If you skip it, you're just constantly sending out the demolition crew without ever giving the construction crew a chance to build things back up stronger.
Which brings us to the final and maybe the most important rule of bone health. It's a simple truth that basically governs our entire skeletal system.
I just love this quote. Bones are efficient but lazy. It perfectly captures the two sides of the coin here. Our bodies are incredibly efficient at adapting to our needs, but they're also, well, lazy. They're not going to waste energy maintaining strength they don't think is necessary.
So what happens if you don't send those stress signals? The body basically looks at that bone and says, guess we don't need this to be so strong. And it starts to break it down to use those resources elsewhere. This is called disuse osteoporosis. And the most extreme example of this, astronauts. They can lose up to 2% of their bone density for every single month they're in space. Why? Because without gravity constantly pulling on them, their bones get zero signals to stay strong.
But, and this is the really powerful part, this is not a one-way street. It's not a done deal. The good news is that this whole process is reversible. By starting to add that stress back in with exercise, and by giving your body the right fuel, you can absolutely tell your body to start building again.
And you know what's great? In today's world, we don't have to just cross our fingers and hope it's working. We have modern tools that can actually help us be proactive and stay on top of our bone health.
I mean, it can be a real game changer to have tools that help you see what's going on. For example, some tech can track how consistent you are with your weight-bearing exercises. It can even analyze your gait to flag potential balance issues before they become a real problem. And then it can bundle all that up into health summaries, giving you and your doctor real, actionable data to track your progress. It's all about having the right information to stay ahead of the curve.
So the main takeaway here is pretty simple, but it's huge. Our everyday actions matter a lot. Every step you take, every squat you do, every jump, it all counts. You are actively sending messages to your own skeleton, telling it how strong it needs to be. Which really just leaves us with one final thought. Your bones are listening. Right now, they are literally waiting for their instructions from you. So, what are you going to tell them today?